Welcome to another Code Made Easy video tutorial presented by Blackstar Code Academy, where we make learning to code easy. For complete, easy to understand and detailed coding video tutorials, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/CodeMadeEasy. Here you'll find in-depth coding instructions and lessons that are easy to understand and follow. So visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/CodeMadeEasy. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now in the first lessons 1 and 2 for Introduction to Bootstrap, we got a little bit familiar with Bootstrap itself, and you can find out more about Bootstrap by visiting getbootstrap.com. And we've also installed our HTML editor. We'll be using Notepad++, which you can also download and install from notepadplus.org. It's a free open source HTML editor, and Bootstrap is open source as well. So we'll be accessing the Bootstrap code remotely, and I'll go over more details a little bit later in this video as how to do that, because we'll be providing you with the links to the Bootstrap CDN. So what we want to do is first we want to look at our previous work. So in the previous videos in lessons 1 and 2, we built out the header section here. That's defined by this yellow color here. And we also added some content to that section. We did some styling, using linear styling to style this section as well as style our content, this sentence that you see here. We also created this section here with the 3 columns that you see. We included some borders and some height for those 3 columns. Now in this lesson we'll be including these offset columns here. So as you can see what I mean by offset, you can see that one column is wider than the other. So what we want to do is once you have your links to the CDN installed into the top of your page, and if you want to go back and review lessons 1 and 2, you can see how I coded out the first couple of sections. And once we have those links installed in are included in our page, we will have access to the Bootstrap resources that we need. And as I stated, we did configure and code the first 2 sections in the previous lessons 1 and 2. We'll go down to our bottom of our second section, and we'll begin coding the third section here. Now I have a page here that doesn't have that in there. I'll show you how to code that as we go through this video tutorial. So what you want to do is go down to your second section, and at the end of that section you want to create a new section. So what we'll do is we'll just key in the word section, tag section, followed by closing tag section, and like that, and we'll open that section up just a little bit like that. And what we're going to do is include some more divs inside that section as we did in our previous lessons. And just a reminder, if you want more detailed instruction regarding Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/CodeMadeEasy. So now continuing, I'll go ahead and create our first division for our new section. Div, opening div tag, closing div tag. And we'll go ahead and open up that section, division, and we'll go ahead and tab over it. We use the techniques described in our first 2 lessons, tab over, and then we want to create another div inside that div. So we'll go ahead and do that, div tag, closing div tag as well. Open up that second div. We'll go ahead and highlight that for readability and organization. And we'll do a third div inside that div. So we'll go ahead and do that. Open div tag, closing div tag, and we'll open up that div as well. So go ahead and do that. So now we have our divs. We have our section, our new section, plus our first div, our second div, and our third div there. So now we want to add some classes to our divisions. So as again in our first 2 lessons, I kind of went over some general information regarding div classes. If you want more detail, go to our patreon.com /Code Made Easy Patreon page, and you can have complete lessons regarding divisions and classes, CSS, and more. So we'll go ahead and add a class to this first division in our third section. So we're going to give it a class of container, class equals container, like that. And then we'll go down to our second div within our section. We'll give that one class equals row. Okay, so now we have that. Now, and we also want to go ahead and save our work every so often while you're coding and including your strings of code into your page. Now we want to add a division class for our grid. So we're going to be using the grid system here, as you can see, that comes with Bootstrap. That comes by default with Bootstrap. So we'll be using the grid system here. So we'll go ahead and do a div with a column class with a class that's equal to col-md-4. So that will give us what we see here. So we'll have our first column there. So, and we'll go ahead and create another div inside that div. So we'll go ahead and do a div, and then we'll do a closing div tag, and we'll open that up because that's where your content would go, and we'll space it for readability and organization. Now we want to apply some styling to this div that we have inside our div class that's assigned a column. So we'll go ahead and do the styling. Again, you can learn more about linear styling from our first two videos and visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/code made easy. So we'll go ahead and style that with a border of 1 pixel solid black, and we'll give it a height of 250 pixels. Okay, so we have that. So I did a Control S. Now I'll go over to my front page here for my work so I can see my work, and I'll go ahead and refresh that, and as you see we have our second column here. So you see that the column's not in line with the first row. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some padding to our row. So you go to the div that's assigned the class of row, and you're going to add some linear styling there. So you go ahead and key in the word style equals double quotes, padding, followed by colon. We'll do the padding of 50 pixels. Okay, so that's how we'll do that. We'll do Control S, go back to our page, and we'll do a refresh. And now you see that that's moved over just a little bit. I want to make that padding not so much. I want to do it like 40 pixels so it lines up with the other ones. So Control S, and we'll do it like that. So now our columns line up better. Okay. So now, as you see in our example here, we want another column here. So what we're going to do is we'll go back to our work, and we'll go ahead, and the simplest way to do that is to add another column by highlighting the div class that's assigned to column MD4. Highlight that and do Control C. Go down to our final tag in that column, hit enter, then Control V to paste that column in there. And that's just a simple way to do it without keying in all those strings and all that code. And now we'll do a Control S to save our work, and we'll go back to our front page here in our example, and we'll go ahead and refresh it, and as you see there, the other column is there. Now as it looks in our example, we want to move this column. We want to have this column offset here. So what we'll do is go back to our code, and we'll choose that second column within that first row of our third section. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and change this. We'll change the first column from a column of MD8 or MD4 to MD8. As stated in previous videos, in our first lesson, each row or column has 12 columns that you cannot see here, but they're divisible by 12. So any number divisible by 12, and it adds up to 8. or to 12. So what we want to do is go ahead and reassign this a column width of 8. So now you got 8 plus 4 equals 12 columns. So now we'll go ahead and do a Control S, save that work, go back to our work, and as you see previously the columns were just together on this left side, but we want one to be offset from the other. So we'll go ahead and do a refresh on the page, and there you go. So we have our offset columns. So this is just going to be a short video just kind of showing you how to create offset columns in the code. And just to recap, what we did was we created another section from our previous lessons, and we added a container class and a row class, and we created 2 columns within our row. One column is assigned a column width of 8 columns, and one column is assigned a column width of 4 columns, just to get your offsets there. Now there are different ways of doing the offsets, and if you want more detailed instruction about how offsets work and div class assignments, as well as styling CSS and HTML definitions, you can go out to our Patreon page at patreon.com/code made easy. Kind of stumbling over my words, but that's what it is. Patreon.com/code made easy. And one other thing I wanted to show you was, now with Bootstrap you have the multimedia queries built into the code, so there's no need to include media queries within your CSS. You can just go ahead and reduce the screen just to make sure that it looks right, and you see how everything kind of collapses in place. And if I adjust the screen size, it will adjust along with it, all the content, all the objects. So that's pretty much it for this particular video. Again, this is just a short video, kind of building on what we have learned in our first 2 lessons, Introductory to Bootstrap 1, Lesson 1, Introductory to Bootstrap Lesson 2, and this is the number 3. So I will be back in the next video to continue to build out this page. We'll add some more columns, and then we'll add some content to these 2 arc sections here. And if you want more detailed instructions and lessons, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/code made easy, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.